Namaste Yogis, my name is Nin. Today we have a Hatha yoga class where we will begin seated, we'll work up to some standing poses and then we'll come down onto our mat. Now, Hatha yoga is traditionally a slower form of yoga where you're more focused on alignment and just really feeling those poses, as opposed to the fast-paced yoga such as power yoga, or there's more slow-paced yoga, yin yoga, where you're very much focused on deepening your stretches into the connective tissue and you'll remain for 3 to 5 minutes. For this, you will just need some comfy clothes, a mat, and you might want to take a few blocks with you, or books, just in case you need extra support. Okay, so we'll begin in this pose here called easy pose, and we'll just bring our hands to our knees, straighten up the spine, pulling some string through our crown so that our spine is straight. Imagining ourselves sitting as straight as possible. Just take an inhale and an exhale. Just let everything slow down around you. Forget all distractions, all to-do lists. And just thank yourself for taking the time today to come down onto your mat, to focus on yourself and regenerate your body and mind. And from here, you might just bring your right ear towards your right shoulder for a little neck stretch here. Just feel that stretch through the left-hand side of your neck. And then rolling your chin down to your chest, bringing your left ear towards your left shoulder. And then we'll take that to the other side, stretching your neck through the right hand side. And then come back to center. Bring your right palm down to the mat, lifting up your left over beyond your shoulder, and just stretch here down the left hand side of your body. This will feel very good. Just focus here again on alignment. Don't let your left shoulder sloop forward. Bring it back. Try and bring your shoulder blades together. And make sure here that your left hip and right hip are both level on the mat. Then coming back to center, lifting up your right arm this time, so that both of your palms are facing one another, bringing your pinky fingers in towards each other. Just stretch, feel the stretch through the armpits. Inhale, breathe through this pose, and then exhale, bringing your left palm down to the mat, bringing your right arm over you, and feeling that stretch down the right hand side, releasing your ribs and any tightness in your intercostal muscles. Again, checking in with your alignment. Check that your right shoulder isn't too far forward, that it's coming back, and that both of your buttocks are on the floor level with each other, and that your right isn't lifted up. Take an inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. And now we're going to walk forward, bringing our palms to the mat. Now you might want some blocks here, just out in front of you. And then I'd like you to begin to walk forward, bending over, bringing your chest towards the floor. And then you can either use your blocks to support you here, or just come down to the mat and let your head hang here. Again, check in, make sure you're not lifting your seat off the mat. It's grounded into the earth. Pressing your palms down. Feel that stretch on your lower lumbar spine. And then just walk out to the right hand side here and stretch this way, bringing your forehead towards your right knee. Again, checking up that your hip isn't lifting off the mat. Breathing in here. Exhale, good. Come back to center. And then take it to the other side, walking around with your left palm, then your right, and bring your forehead down towards your left knee, and just make sure the alignment's right. Don't lift your hip off the mat. Come back to center now, and we'll just walk back slowly and with control up into our easy pose. And now come into tabletop pose. Now this involves you coming onto your knees, hip width apart, wrists shoulder width apart. And just begin here to circle round, get some movement into the body, and then go the other way. And then we'll take a cat-cow. Inhale, bringing your head down, tucking your tailbone in, arching your spine. Exhale, bringing your stomach towards the mat, lifting your tailbone, opening up your chest, bringing your shoulder blades together. Inhale again, tuck the tailbone in, let the head hang, arch the spine. Exhale, bringing the tailbone up, shoulder blades together, opening up the chest. And now we're going to come down onto our mats. So come into a plank pose, supporting yourself with your knee on the mat, and just straighten up your spine here, and then begin to lower and bringing your elbows in towards your ribs. Slowly come down, stomach, chest, chin to the mat, and then come up into cobra pose, tucking your palms underneath you, keeping your elbows in towards your ribs, and stretch up. Exhale, bringing our stomach, chest and chin down to the mat again. Exhale. Inhale, coming up, bringing our shoulders in towards one another, bringing our elbows into our ribs, opening up our chest, and just look forward and feel that lovely, wonderful, restorative stretch on the lower back. Exhale, come down again to the mat. And this time, option is to take full cobra. So, straightening up your elbows completely, pressing down into your palms, coming straight up, straightening the arms, checking the alignment here. Are the palms underneath your shoulders? Are the shoulder blades coming together? Are you stretching on your lower spine? Exhale, we'll do that one last time. Come down to the mat, take a breath, and then we'll come up into our final full cobra. Exhale, come down to the mat now. And now we're going to come back into a pose called child's pose. So returning to tabletop position, then bringing your seat back towards your heels. We'll just stay in child's pose for a second or two. Before coming up, just bend your elbows here, and then we'll lift up our left arm, look over our shoulder, and then we'll tuck it through into thread the needle. So bringing your left ear down to the mat, check that your hips are above your knees. Now, option here is to just bring your left palm down to the floor. If you like, you might be able to bring your right palm up directly above you. Just feel that stretch in your armpit here, in your arms. Just check again, are your hips directly above your knees? Breathing in here. And now begin to bring your right elbow in, untucking the left arm underneath you. And then we'll take a child's pose again. Stretching out with our arms in front of us. Then lifting up our right arm this time, looking over, up to your right palm, and then threading it under your left armpit, and try and bring your right ear down to the mat. And here, lifting up your hips so that they're directly above your knees. And here, you might just bring your right palm onto the mat. Or you might be able to walk forward with your left arm and stretch up directly in front of you, feeling that, intensifying that stretch in your armpit. And just make sure here again, as we did before, that your seat is above your knees. Breathing in that space and oxygen. And then come back up into tabletop pose, and we'll take a few cat-cow breaths here. So inhale, arching the spine, letting the head hang. Exhale, lifting up the tailbone, bringing the stomach down to the mat, opening up the chest, bringing the shoulder blades together. And now we'll come into the first of our standing poses. So what I'd like you to do here is, keeping out, we're going to start stretching in our hips. So bringing your palms out in front of you, underneath your shoulders, and then bringing forward your right foot so that it's in front of you here and between the gates of your palms. And just come into a lower lunge or a low lunge. And stretch here, opening up the hips. Check in, is your right knee above your right ankle? And press down here. Just take a few breaths as we begin to open up the hips. The hips can store a lot of emotional energy in them, so it's important we spend the time, dedicate it to loosening up any tightness and tension in our bodies. Inhale, Exhale, come back to a tabletop pose. Realign yourself here. And then bringing your left foot round to the front into a low lunge on the other side. And just feel that stretch in the other side of your hips. Just pressing down to the mat with your hips, releasing that energy. It feels pretty good for me. Hope it feels good for you too. And then come back into tabletop pose. And now, as I said before, we're going to start working up into our standing pose. So the first pose we're going to do is a warrior two. So just here, come into a standing pose, just bringing yourself up slowly. Now, for the first one, we're going to bring our right foot out to the side and check that our right knee is above our right ankle. And then checking that our left arch is behind our right, or aligned to our right heel. And we'll come into a warrior two. So bend down into this pose, and this is the most important bit, that you feel you've got a good balance here. And then bringing the palms out and arms so that they're parallel with the mat. And press down into this really restorative pose, bringing your shoulder blades towards each other, checking that your spine is straight, that your shoulders are coming away from your ears. And just take 3 breaths here. And then bringing your right arm up and your left palm down under or just towards your left thigh as we come into a reverse warrior. So here's a really good stretch for the side of the body again. Just look up here. And then bringing your right forearm down to your right thigh and lifting over into extended side angle pose with your left arm above you, and it should form somewhat of a straight line from your left foot to your left palm here. Inhale here just for 2 more breaths, then exhale, come back up into warrior two. And then I'd just like you to bring your right foot out in front of you. Then breathing in, lifting up your waist, begin to bend down towards the floor. Now here again, do feel free to use your blocks to support you. If it's too much of a challenge to come down to the mat today, so just have a straight back here. If you can, and it's available, bringing your palms down to the mat, let your head hang here, and just feel that stretch in your hamstrings here. Take 2 more breaths. And then just reaching out, come over towards your right hand side, grab hold of your right foot and just stretch down here, intensifying the stretch here on your right hand side. Come around to center here and then take it over towards the left hand side. come over into center again. Slowly bringing your hands towards your waist and slowly lift up. Just let the blood run to your head so that you don't do any fast movements. And then bringing your left foot so that it's facing the other side of your mat. Checking in with the alignment here. Is your left heel in alignment with your right arch? Then just bending in to your left knee. Just check here if you feel balanced and stable. And then lifting your palms up parallel with the mat into our warrior two. And just make sure you're pressing down into your hips and keeping your alignment here. Keep your spine straight, shoulder blades coming towards each other. Shoulders away from the ears. Is your knee above your ankle? Inhale and here for 2 more breaths. And then bringing your right hand to your right thigh and lifting up with your left palm, looking up towards it. Just check again, bending in to your left knee. Reverse warrior. Exhale now, bringing your left forearm down to your left thigh and lifting up with your right arm over into extended side angle pose, and just check that your shoulders are being pulled back, and if you can visualize a straight line coming from your right foot to your right palm. Inhale here. Exhale, come back into our warrior two pose. Just finally, then bringing our feet out in front of us. Going to come into a standing pose and slowly begin to kneel down to the mat until we can come into our hero pose. So this next pose we're going to do is a pose called Baddha Konasana. So come down into our saddle pose where the feet are right out in front of us. Spine is straight, so this is just where you check in and your alignment is straight. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees flop out to the side, and if today your pelvis and your hips are tight, you might want to put blocks underneath your knees here. And just begin to open up your hips. Maybe give yourself a little massage in the feet. And then if you want to take this stretch a little bit deeper, remove the blocks, pressing your elbows into your knees. Just come forward and begin to bring your forehead towards your feet. Feel that deep stretch in your hips. If any thoughts come your way that distract you or make you feel anxious, just shepherd them away, acknowledging them, but don't pay too much attention to them. Just come back to the moment you are in here. And your focus now is opening your hips. Pressing down if it becomes available with your elbows further into your knees. Otherwise, just take it easy. We won't be in this pose for much longer. Inhale. And then come back up to seated. And then bringing our knees into each other. We're just going to do a few counter poses here because, well, it's good to do that. Yoga is all about symmetry. So bringing your right foot out first and then bringing your left foot over your right knee. And we're going to take a seated twist. So just check in, is your spine straight? Straight as it can be. Lifting up with your left hand this time and bringing your left elbow to meet the left knee. Straighten up with your palm and then look over your right shoulder. So this is a nice twist in the spine to counter the fact that you were bending forward. Take 2 more breaths here. And then come back to center. Uncross the legs. Just do a windshield type motion here. And then bringing your right foot over your left knee. Inhale with your right arm up. Bringing your right elbow down towards your right knee and then look over your left shoulder this time. Twists are brilliant here for detoxifying the body of any chemicals or releasing any circulation that might be blocked. Inhale, coming up to center. Now I'm just going to turn around so that make sure you can see me. So bring your feet out in front of you. Sit up tall and straight. And then slowly begin to walk forward with your palms so that you come down into a forward fold. Now you might feel this is enough just to come down halfway. If you can, you might want to bring some blocks into this and just rest your forehead onto here like this. If you like, you might be able to bring your palms around your feet and just lean in this way and feel that stretch in the hamstrings. It's not about who can get the deepest into this pose. It's very much a journey, and it's your journey. Yoga is often about paying attention to what you and your body needs and not comparing yourself to others. So just focus now on what you find as your edge. Coming up slowly into a seated pose. Just to counter that, we're going to walk back with our palms and then let our head hang over our shoulders back into a fish pose. And if you like, you might want to just shift forward slightly and bring your forearms down to the mat and then tilt the head back. And this is one of the only poses in yoga we do where it really stretches out our throat and our back. Throat is often not stretched. Take one last inhale and then exhale. Bring your head up slightly, and then we're going to take a few final poses down onto the mat. And this first pose we're going to do is a reclined pigeon pose. So bring the soles of your feet down to the mat, crossing your right foot over your left knee. Just let your right knee fall out to the side. Then grabbing your left thigh from behind, just bringing it in towards your chest into reclined pigeon. And this will feel really nice in your right hip. Straightening out your left leg if that's available to you today. And flex your left foot if you can, and your right. Inhale, bringing your left foot towards the mat, and just uncross your right foot over your left, and then bringing your right knee into your right chest and straightening out your left leg here. Maybe just circling around with your right knee if you can. And then bringing the soles of your feet to the mat. We'll take that onto the other side. So bringing your left foot over your right knee, letting your left knee drop out to the side. Then grabbing your right thigh from behind, try and bring your right knee towards your chest. You might use your left elbow here just to make sure that your left knee is flexing out to the side. And then if it's available, straighten up your right leg. Flexing your feet here. Inhale, bringing your right foot down to the mat, your left foot down to the mat, and then bringing your left knee into your chest and straighten out your right foot. Maybe just circling around with your left knee if you can. Before you come to center, just take 2 more breaths here. Then bringing the soles of your feet onto the mat again. Going to do a final pose here, which is called happy baby pose. So bringing your knees into your chest and then just let them fall out to the side towards your armpits, and then begin to straighten up your calves and grab hold of your feet on either side here. Into a happy baby pose. And just feel, if you can, use your arms to stretch open your hips. Take one last breath here. And then bringing your feet together, begin to straighten your legs out and let the feet fall out beside you as we come into our final pose, Shavasana. Then I like to let my palms fall out and face the sky. Just relax here, noticing how you now feel compared to when you started this practice. Do you notice that some areas of tension now feel released and as though there's more space in them? Just scan your body, and if you come into an area of tension, just breathe into it. Let your shoulder blades and your spine and your legs and your head just sink into the mat further. Just unclench your jaw, unfurrow your brow, take an inhale through your nose and out through your mouth. And just set an intention here for your day. It might be to do an act of kindness for someone else, or it might be to focus on yourself and relaxing. Just make sure throughout the day you stay true to that intention. Take one final inhale. And then exhale. Begin to wriggle your hands, wriggle your feet, wiggle your feet, wiggle your arms. Then bring the soles of your feet to the mat and then let your knees fall to the side. Have your palm out in front of you to come into a fetal type position. Then press up into an easy pose where we began, legs crossed, letting our knees fall out beside us, and just let the blood come back up to the head. Let the shoulder blades come back towards you, towards each other. Inhale, bringing our hands to our heart. We bow and say Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for observing this Hatha yoga practice with me today. If you like what you saw, there's a few more classes on my YouTube channel. Please, if you can, take the time to subscribe to help raise this channel to the top and help me bring free yoga to the internet. Namaste.